Hello all, welcome to Advanced Engineering Physics, Lasers, second one. This is Dr. S. Deepthi, Assistant Professor in Physics, Department of H&S, MLR Institute of Technology. So, in the previous lecture, what we have learned about the definitions of lasers and also some important how the laser works, like that we have learned. Now, what are the perspectives of laser? And in the previous lecture, we have learned about Einstein, how Einstein's theory framed the lasers. Okay. So, in this lectures, we are going to learn about laser emission, absorption, spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. So, what is a laser? Laser means light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Light amplification by stimulated emission. Okay, this is about the laser. Already we have learned. But in order to achieve the stimulated emission, what we need to get? We need to get into the topic of absorption, spontaneous emission. Then only we can get the stimulated emission of radiation. Then by the stimulated emission of radiation itself, we are supposed to have the laser beam, laser output. Okay, absorption. So now consider two layers. Okay, two energy levels. Where does these energy levels get? Yes, these energy levels correspond to the atom, and in that atom, the electrons revolve around the atom in a particular energy levels. So the electron transition here in lasers, in what we can say, in getting the laser light output, we are supposed to see the electron transition as atomic transition. This is one thing we need to remember. So, consider two energy levels, E1 and E2. E2 is the higher energy level, E1 is the ground energy level. This is visible to all of us, such that E2 minus E1 is equals to h nu, where h nu, E is equals to h nu is the famous formula where we are supposed to see the light in the form of waves. So, here also the quantum mechanical expression is explained as E2 minus E1 is equals to h nu, where nu is the frequency of radiation. So, whenever the light is taken, the light is considered to be travelled in the form of waves. So, the waves are supposed to have moving with a frequency. Okay. So, the energy radiated out is directly proportional to the frequency, where h is the Planck's constant. So, the transition between the two levels can occur as absorption and spontaneous emission. This occurs irrespective of anything. That means this transition occurs automatically. Okay. So, next coming to the stimulated emission. Afterwards, these two, when we give some energy, stimulated emission occurs. Let us see. So, absorption. When the photon strikes an atom in the lower energy level, as I said itself, what does it mean? Atom as if strikes the atom means the electrons are going to move from one level to another energy level, but we see that the atomic transition as a whole. Okay. So, when the photon strikes an atom in the lower energy state, the photon may be absorbed, rising the atom to the higher energy state. This process is called as absorption. The atom always stays in the lower energy level. Whenever required, when we are going to we are supposed to take the atom to the higher energy state, then we need to provide some amount of energy. That energy will be in the form of photonic light of a photon h nu hits the atom which is in the ground state. Then the atom gets excited to the higher energy state. This is what is called as absorption. Now, spontaneous emission. What is spontaneous emission? The excited state E2 is not a stable one. So, whenever the atom exists in the excited state, it will stay for a period of 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. Okay. The electron jumps back to the ground state. It will always stay in the ground state for the stability, and it will stay for a period of 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. Okay. without any external stimulus are giving out energy. It is absorbed in the form of radiation of frequency nu and energy h nu. Okay, so whatever may be the absorbed energy, amount of energy will be radiated out. So the same amount of energy will be radiated out due to the de-excitation of atom from higher energy level to the lower energy level. Okay, this is called as spontaneous emission. It is random and incoherent. So coherent means what? Okay, let us view about the coherence in the next slide. So see here. Now coming to our induced stimulated or induced emission. What is the stimulated emission of radiation? Now this is very important in order to get the laser light. So stimulated emission means, what we are supposed to get the emission in a proper way. Okay, that we are providing that path. So let us consider that one. The average lifetime of electron in the excited state is 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. Okay, during this short time period interval, if a photon of energy h nu is incident on the atom, if a photon of h nu is incident on the atom which is in the excited state. Okay, remember that a photon of energy is incident on the atom which is in the ground state, then the absorption occurs. If the photon of atom again incident on the excited atom, that is the atom in the excited state, then this gives the 2 photons. Okay, so provided energy h nu. The stimulated photon is exactly equal to the difference in the energy levels of the two states. H nu is equals to E2 minus E1. Okay, this process is called as stimulated or induced emission. In this stimulated emission, the emitted radiation by atom is coherent with the stimulated radiation. Now, what is coherent? Yes, we have already learned about coherence. Coherence means, once again, what we can say, when two waves are said to be incoherent with each other, that means they need to be in the same phase or they need to move with the same phase difference. If a wave starts here, the wave should maintain the same phase difference throughout their journey. The phase difference between the two waves should be the same. So, then the two waves are said to be in coherence with one another. This is one important property to get the laser light. Okay, this is one of the property to get the laser light. Yes, we have already learned about this one in the previous video lecture with the characteristics of laser. So, coherence means they should be in phase with one another, or the two waves should have the same phase difference between them. Okay, so during the process of stimulated emission, what happens? Whenever the energy is incident on the atom which is in the excited state, then the energy received by the atom in the excited state the atom will remain in the excited state for the 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds and then come to the ground state by releasing 2 photons of energy that are incoherent with one another. This is called as stimulated emission of radiation, by which we are going to produce laser light. Okay, so the differences between spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. So, spontaneous emission occurs without stimulus energy. Emission occurs by stimulus energy. Stimulus energy means we are going to provide some amount of energy. Okay, one photon is emitted here, and here stimulated emission 2 photons are emitted. All the emitted photons move in a random direction. All the emitted photons by various transitions moves in the same direction. Okay, the probable rate of transition is P to 1 spontaneous is equals to A to 1. What is A to 1? What is here we will learn in the next slide. The probable rate of transition P to 1 stimulated is equals to U of V A to 1, where U of V is the energy. Okay, this process depends upon the properties of energy states E1 and E2 respectively. This process depends upon the properties of energy states E1 and E2 also in the incident energy supplied to the atoms in the higher energy state. So, what is the difference between these two? This only depends in spontaneous emission. The process depends only on the difference in the energy states. Here, along with the difference in the energy states, it also depends on the incident energy supplied. The rate of decay of atoms is equals to dN2 by dt is equals to minus A21 N2. So, dN2 by dt is equals to minus B21 N2 U of V. Okay. So here the difference is these A21, B21 are called as Einstein coefficient, which we will learn later. Okay, N2 is the number of atoms in the excited state, U of V is the energy. Okay. Now, this theory was postulated by Bohr and this theory was postulated by Einstein. Emitted radiation is incoherent, emitted radiation is coherent. Okay, emitted radiation is polychromatic, emitted radiation is monochromatic here. Emitted radiation is low intensity and less directional, and emitted radiation is having high intensity and high directional. Its lifetime is equals to tau spontaneous is equals to 1 by A21. Its lifetime is equals to tau spontaneous stimulated is equals to 1 by B21. So the example is sunlight, the example is ruby laser and helium neon laser and so many laser systems. So by this what we can understand? We can understand that through only stimulated emission of radiation, we are supposed to get the laser light, not through that spontaneous emission. Spontaneous emission is the emission occurred in every atom. Okay, it occurs in everywhere, and sunlight is the best example for spontaneous emission of radiation. So now Einstein coefficients. What are Einstein coefficients? AB coefficients. Yes, in the previous slide we have learnt about what is A21, B21 and so on. So whenever the atom is absorbed from the ground state energy, lower energy state to the excited state, then the excited state atom stays here for some time period and then returns to the ground state. If we provide some external amount of energy, this excited electron, this excited atom will be de-excited to provide the light having coherence. So in this process, we are going to have some mathematical formulations. The mathematical formulations will provide us how the propagation of laser light. Okay, so now let us consider this one. So let us consider the two states, energy 1, E1 and E2. The spontaneous emission, the rate of transition is equals to dN2 by dt is equals to minus A21 N2. A21 means second level to the first level, and the atom is going to come from the excited state to the ground state, A21 to N2. Since the transitions we are considering positive as from ground to upper state as positive and upper state to lower state as negative, we have keeping minus A21 N2. N2 is the population density of state 2. Tau is equals to A21 whole power minus 1, decay lifetime of state 2 to 1. Now absorption, dN2 by dt, B12 N1 rho of V. B12 means the state 1 to state 2. Okay. N1 is the population density in the state 1. Rho of V is energy density. In the earlier slide, we have seen as U of V. Okay. It is no issues for U of V or rho of V. Okay. So now stimulated emission dN2 by dt is equals to minus B21. Here the energy is in the higher energy state, the atom is in the higher energy state. So we are going to see that minus B21 N2 rho of V. Okay, since we are providing some amount of energy. At equilibrium, dN2 by dt is equals to minus A21 N2 plus B12 N1 rho of V minus B21 N2 rho of V is equals to 0. We are adding all the three at equilibrium conditions. Now, N2 taking common, N2 by N1, we want to have the ratio between the two energies, two number of atoms in the higher energy state to the number of atoms in the lower energy state. That comes as N2 by N1 is equals to B12 rho of V plus divided by A21 plus B21 rho of V. Degeneracy of state of different atoms can have the same energy. Okay. So what is degeneracy state? Different atoms can have same energy is called as degeneracy. So N2 by N1 is equals to G2 by G1 exp minus h nu by kT. This is the expression. So h nu is the energy difference between the two atomic states. So this is the general expression. Now we are going to compare this one. B12 by B21 is equals to G2 by G1. Okay. For extreme terms, exp minus h nu by kT is turns to 1. Okay. So that now we find A21 by B21 by using B12 is equals to G2 by G1 B21, and rho of V is equals to 8 pi nu cube nr cube c by c cube into h nu by e power h nu by kT minus 1. This is what we are going to find out. Okay. In comparison with these two, So G21 by G1, B21 rho of V is equals to G21 by G1, A21 e power minus h nu by kT plus G2 by G1, B21 e power minus h nu by kT rho of V. So by comparing these two and comparing and equating the terms, we are going to get this one. B21 is equals to, if we take the common B21, then what happens, 1 minus e power h nu by kT rho of V. A21 e power minus h nu by kT. So now this becomes B21 e power h nu by kT, e power h nu by kT minus 1, 8 pi h nu nr cube by c cube, 1 by e power h nu by kT minus 1 is equals to A21 e power h nu by kT. Okay, so comparing and contrasting above equations, we are going to get A21 by B21 is equals to 8 pi h nu cube by nr cube by c cube. Okay, this is the ratio between A21 and B21. Okay, so Einstein coefficients, what does the Einstein coefficients tells? The Einstein coefficients are the fundamental mathematical quantities in quantum mechanics and optics that quantify the probability of atom or molecule transitioning between the energy levels by absorbing and emitting a photon. These coefficients provide a crucial link between quantum nature of matter and the macroscopic thermodynamic properties of radiation described by Planck's law. Okay, so in this video lecture you have learned about laser emission, Einstein coefficients and their relations. In the next video lecture you are going to learn about Madras stable state, population inversion, pumping and leasing action. Thank you.